Hey friends, how's it going? This is Wolf, and in today's video I want to show you guys how to build a super powerful agent that's capable of extracting text from any image. So we can just take any screenshot like this, then we can go into our agent here, just send the image, and within seconds it's going to give us the very precisely extracted text, as you can see here, and then it's also giving us a summary. So if you put like very long text in here, it's also giving us a very quick summary of what this image basically describes. All right. So without further ado, let's get this started. I'm going to show you guys how to build this agent within, well, 5 to 10 minutes using n8n. So it's a complete no-code workflow. All you basically need for this is two things, and it's going to be two credentials. So first of all, the Telegram credential. So you just want to go to bot father on Telegram, make a new bot, put the access token in here. I've also shown that in different tutorials. It's pretty easy. And then also you want to add an OpenAI credential for our communication. We will use OpenAI to extract image or extract text from the image. So you want to go to platform.openai.com and then go to your API key section here, create new secret key, call this something like text extractor, create secret key, copy the key, and just put it in here and save it. I've already done that, so I will just close it. And now we can go to our workflows, create a new workflow, and then you should be set with those two credentials. Pretty easy and pretty, straightforward to use. So first of all, we will start with Telegram trigger. As per usual, it's going to be an on message trigger. So make sure you select the correct bot here, which is going to be the image reader bot. And then since we expect the user to send an image to extract text from, we can also add the download image field here, check this so it's directly downloading the image as binary data to then use it in our next step, right? So what I like to do next is add a little if note here, and first of all we can test the workflow, go here, say something like, hey, it's going to execute this trigger here, so we can go here. And now we can just drag our from ID here and say is equal to, and then copy the value. So what I like to do here, and we also want to convert this to avoid any string int confusion. This is just a very simple way to check for is admin. So basically what this does is whenever we trigger this Telegram on message, it's going to go into the if check here, and it's going to compare our ID. So any user that talks to the bot basically with our hard-coded ID of the owner. So we make sure only we can use the bot, right? So to do that, we need to add a new, no, I mean, we don't need to, but we can add a different send text message node and basically just say that something like, sorry, you are not authorized to use this bot. So whenever a user would send a message without the ID being whitelisted, it'll default to this message here. We can also disable the n8n attribution, and then we want to have an expression here, and it's going to be the Telegram trigger item JSON message chat ID, which is basically just the normal chat ID, right? Oh, and very important, we of course want to select our image reader bot here. Okay, we can call this something like no auth. So you know, this just takes like a minute, and now we have a basic auth system, like a super simple one, to make sure only we use the bot and nobody can like abuse it and then kind of use the service on our API expenses, you know. So that's basically it. So now we want to go to the true branch here at the switch node, because I also would like to have a different check and check whether we actually send an image or whether we send a text, for example, right? So we scroll down a little bit here, and now we want to compare if if it was a text or if it was an image. So you just go to the little text object here, drag it here, right? So it's going to be the item.json.message.text. Well, actually, if you want to have it even simpler, you could also just do it from the previous node. So you could also just do it from this. So it's simply going to be json.message.text, because all these parameters are being passed to this, right? And then we just want to say if it exists. So it's just going to be a Boolean check. If this exists, then we name this branch text. And then also we can convert it to avoid any weird like typecasting or whatever. And then here, basically what you want to do is you want to change this expression to photo, and you want to check if it exists. So Boolean exists, and also rename this to photo. So all this does now is basically check if once we pass this admin check here, if the message we sent was a text or a photo, right? And we do this because now if it was a text, which we can just test here, so we're gonna say something like hello, right? Now you can see we passed the check, but it is a text which we don't really want. So now here we can just copy this, connect it like here, call this wrong type or something, and then we want to send it to the same chat ID, but here we want to say something like, please send a photo of an image or something. Or just something like, please send a photo to extract text from, something like that, right? From, and now whenever we do that and we say that was the wrong one, and we say something like, hey, it'll say, please send a photo to extract text from. So it lets the user know, okay, hey, please send a photo, because we, like, this bot was built to work with photos, right? So in case we do have a photo here, we can actually add an OpenAI node, and there's a bunch of ways to do that, but basically we can just do the image action, analyze image, right? So it'll select the correct ones for us, kind of, and then we hit the image reader agent tutorial one. So here you just select your OpenAI credential you previously added with your key here that you copied, or you just add it here. And then we can choose from a variety of models. I kind of like to use the 4.0 latest one because it's pretty decent with text extraction. And then we can just say something super simple like this here. So it's basically just a few rules. So first of all, please extract the text from the image as accurately as possible. Then also, if the text is long, describe and summarize it in a maximum of 2 sentences. So this is our summary. And then also, if no text is recognized, issue a message. So if we send like an empty image, it's also going to say something like, hey, there is no text, right? Now the output format is just going to be super simple. We just have the extracted text and then the extracted text, and we have a summary section and then the summary, right? And that should pretty much be it, right? You can leave this as it is. Well, actually, we can append, or we could put an URL here, but we want to use the binary data that we previously downloaded directly from Telegram because it makes it even easier. So you need to select binary here and then have it set to data because that's the default name, but that is going to be it. And then, well, we can actually test that step, right? So now you can go here. Now we just copy something super simple like this. We test this, we put it here, and now we wait for it to finish executing. And once it did, as you can see, it only takes a couple seconds. Now you can see here it's giving us the extracted text and also the summary of what this displays, right? So now in the next step, also super simple, we just hit a new Telegram. Actually, we can also just copy this like that. So I like to copy these so objects like the chat ID are already filled. I don't need to do it again. We just call this something like send text, right? And then we have the image reader bot here, very important. It's going to be a send message. It's going to be here. And now basically we simply want to put this content object from the previous node in here. So it's going to be an expression json.content. And also we want to disable the n8n attribution because it will always put this little like n8n credit there, and we don't need that. So that's pretty much it. So if we test this step now, you can see it's going to give us this extracted text and also the summary. So, well, guys, this is actually the full agent, and I know it looks super tiny, but it is pretty efficient. So I'm just going to hit the test workflow again. We go to something like the Apple website. Now we can just scroll down where there's like lots of text. We can just copy all of this here, so it's super much. I don't even know what it says. And now I just kind of move this here so we can see it a little bit. Maybe just make this pretty small so we can see how it executes. Whoops, what is happening? Kind of like that. And now we just put it here. And as you can see, it's going through the node super quickly. It's analyzing the image, and within a couple seconds, it'll give us the full thingy or not. So let's see what the problem was here. Can't parse entities. Well, what happened here? Oh, we do have \n here. Okay, I think that is the problem. No, I think actually the quotation marks are the problem. So I think the quotation mark is the problem. Just give me 1 second. All right, guys, so I had a quick look. I think the issue was within some special characters here, because you do have some special characters here, and that may like malfunction, especially something like this here. This may malfunction the way of Telegram's markdown language that's being used. So it's probably like a markdown issue if you have markdown or HTML within that, especially these special characters like here. So the way we can solve this is actually we add a code node in between and kind of change the way we want the markdown to work, right? So I'm using this code here, and the way it works is it just takes our JSON content here from the OpenAI node, and then it also has a preserve bold constant here, so we can say what we want to keep, which is the summary and the extracted text, because we want to keep those bold, but the rest we kind of want to strip away and just completely remove any markdown from, okay? So it's going to replace all these special characters with just an empty slot pretty much, so just remove it essentially, and then it's going to return our safe text as text, right? So we just add this code node in between, and then you do need, well, we can actually execute that, right? So let's test this step. And as you can see, it's giving us the safe text, so to speak, as text. And now what we do next, we just drag this text component here into the text field, and that should work. We can test the step, and as you can see, it's sending us the full text. So it's sending us this full text with the markdown removed, but the kind of title or H1 is still bold, and also the summary is still bold. And now it's saying, okay, the summary basically to receive a $30 discount on iPhone 15, some things are required, okay? So yeah, that's basically it. We can also test this, we can save this. So now this makes it even cleaner. And as you can see, sometimes it's also good to debug live, so to encounter any issues and then you actually find new functions, because if we didn't add this, we would not have any way to actually work with complex markdown, right? So now we can test it again. Hopefully it's not gonna break again. So let me just copy this as well. Now I hope this won't mess it up, but let's just see what happens. Put it here and kind of see what's going on. And then, yeah, let's see what happens. And as you can see, everything's fine. We still have the extracted text, also these special characters here. We also have a summary. So we can test this once more, maybe on the n8n website. So just something like this here, which is kind of like, a chat UI kind of. So we also want to test that, just put it here. And as you can see, it's working super quickly in the notes, then kind of correcting the text, sending the text. And now let's see what this does. So it's extracting all our text here. And now it's saying the image promotes a chat interface. So what is also super interesting, it's not only extracting the text, but it's kind of doing so in a smart way. So what that means is it is like detecting that this promotes a chat interface, but then it's also giving me the full text in like this interface UI, right? And that is a pretty cool way of handling this, instead of just like in a dumb way extracting the text, because it can detect context basically, right? So it can detect something like, oh, this is from an iMessage screenshot, this looks like a YouTube comment, this looks like a Telegram text kind of, right? Actually, so I wonder what happens if we just give it this. All right, if we just give it this, because basically you can put anything in there, and let's see what it comes up with, and let's see what it detects. So as you can see now, it's extracting all of this. I hope I didn't leak any API keys here. And now it's telling me the summary, and it's detecting that this is from a list of chat conversations in the messaging app. And it also detects that this is from different bots and tutorials and all of that, right? So it kind of has this smart context, which is super cool. And it also just works with super plain text, right? So yeah, guys, this is pretty much our text extractor agent. I should call it that, text extractor agent, right? And yeah, as you guys can see, it's pretty simple. We basically just talk to OpenAI to process the images we previously downloaded in a Telegram node here. We have a simple auth check to make sure only we can use it. We have a simple switch check to make sure if people send text, we can actually let them know, please send an image. Now, if they do send an image, we just have this super simple prompt here to analyze the image, extract the text, give us the certain output here. Then we use this code node, which we spontaneously added to make sure that it's not like malfunctioning or kind of doing bad things if there is markdown or HTML text. We kind of just replace all these special characters. If you do want to keep some, you can just remove them from here and kind of change the way the saved text is being created. And we also have these preserved words, which are basically whitelisted. So we keep these formatted. So this is the markdown to make it bold in Telegram. And then in the last step, we pretty much just sent the saved text here to our chat ID. And yeah, this is pretty much how we can extract text from any image within seconds while keeping the context and while the model knows that this is from a chat UI interface and this is from a messaging app interface, right? So yeah, guys, that's it for today's tutorial. Let me know if you guys have any questions. It would mean the world to me if you subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with those kind of tutorials. We're building super cool no-code workflows here in n8n. We're also building custom APIs. In one of the last videos, I've actually built a GPT wrapper, kind of my own API to use the GPT image gen. That's also super cool if you want to check it out. And we're also building full code tutorials here in the soon future. So full Python applications, vibe coding, and all of the good stuff already. So that was it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a wonderful day. Peace.